Okay. We're live, man. We are live. It is Thursday. I think it's the 16th today, right? 16th? No, it's Wednesday. Wow. Where am I at? It's Wednesday, March 16th. This is an Imperfect Action Show. I'm with my guy, Manny Hall. On this show, if this is your first time, what we do, right? We teach marketing and business principles, lessons, strategies. We give you a lot of value, a lot of gain for free with the hopes that you take this information, that you implement it into your life in real time and, get something from it, right? Something tactical, something that you can, build upon and things like that. Today's episode, we're talking about branding, right? Does branding really matter? The power of branding and things like that. So I had to go get me a branding expert, right? So Manny Hall, welcome to the episode. And while you introduce yourself, what I like to do during this time is let the community know that we're going live. So I'm gonna send a couple text messages out to the community. So why don't you just let people know who you are, where you hail from, what value you bring to the marketplace, things like that.
Absolutely. So my name is Manny Hall. I am a brand development coach outside of Cleveland, Ohio. I really started doing this, y'all, because I saw so many successful business owners that wasn't getting no traffic, no love, no exposure with their brand, and I had to figure out a reason why. So I started doing some soul searching behind the scenes, and start looking at real successful people, and I started to see these habits, these behaviors, these ways of thinking that was totally different from the majority of the clients that I was working with. So when I did a hard pivot for my own business, I wanted to reach back out to my clients and do the same for their business and help them to see the importance of developing a brand and understanding that their reputation, how people saw them, that was the brand. It wasn't what they said it was. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that, but that's just a short intro, y'all.
I like that. I like that. So what was the thing that like triggered you to go into space for yourself? You know what I mean? Because you obviously noticed, yeah, there were other people having the issues, but what were you noticing in your own business as you was as ascending that you were like, this is a problem that I have to solve for myself?
Absolutely. Great question. So back in 2017, when I first started the company, the main reason why I wanted to get into marketing is because I knew that there had to be a sweet spot in order to grow my own brand organically without depending so much on ads. Now, ads aren't a bad thing at all, but without you having your brand to build leverage upon those ads, you're not really going to get no love, and you spend thousands and thousands of dollars. So in the beginning, that is what I did. I grew organically. My social media page sitting at close to 25,000 to date when y'all watch this. And it was literally me building relationships, cohesive relationships with each and every single one of them. Now, I didn't talk to all of them. Some people just followed me, but I knew that there had to be a hack and a way to get exposure without doing things the traditional route. So that was one of the things that I did early on, was just started building my own principle. I got this thing called the BTB Method, which stands for bringing value.
1 second.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, give me 1 second. They sometimes they be calling live. All right, there we go.
Yep. So the BTB method, y'all, is bringing value. And this is something that you got to do in life. This is not just some social media phrase that's just been thrown around out there. Like, you got to be bringing value to other people in order to be successful in any part of your life. But the T stands for telling your story. You got to be able to tell your story in such an authentic, captivating way that is going to get somebody's attention. They're going to be somewhat interested to at least hear more way before they buy. And the last one is building relationship. This is something that you have to do in order to be successful. So I literally started to build my business off of these principles. And next thing I know, sales start coming in like crazy. And I was like, man, I'm not doing what the other guys are doing. Like, maybe I'm doing something wrong, but no, bro, the business just kept growing. And the first year in 2020, I was laid off from my job, hit six figures for the first time within the business. It was an almost overwhelming feeling, but I had to think back, how did I get here? It was literally me building my business off of these principles.
So those are very powerful principles, right? You're just talking about bringing value, telling your story, and then building the relationships. So if someone is hearing this in real time and they're like, "That sounds really simple," how are they able to actually use these strategies, right, organically to actually get some of the successes, that you were speaking about that you had in your first year, right? Because some people they may think like, okay, like, well, am I just doing this one time? Am I doing it on email? Am I doing it on social media? Am I like, what platform do I choose? How do I do this to effectively be successful? What would you say to that?
Absolutely. Great question. So, first, I'll say that it has to be a change of a mindset. It's similar to when people want to work out just to lose 20 pounds because summer 2022 coming up, right? So, you want to look cute, have that bad body, but you never really change your lifestyle. So, come fall, you're gonna get all them pounds right back, and you're gonna be salty, thinking like, man, why am I fat again? What the heck happened? I did all the stuff, but you only did it for a little bit. It never changed as a lifestyle. So this is the first thing that you'll have to do if you want to even try this particular principle that I'm talking about. Is you changing your mindset, realizing that the things that have gotten you to the point that you're at right now have been a whole bunch of habits, and I can't necessarily call them wrong, but they sure got you to where you are. And if you're not as successful as you want to be, you got three options, three very, very clear options. You can keep doing things the same way. You can try to do some of the stuff that you're hearing on other people talk about, or you can try this BTB method that will literally cost you nothing. And I believe that the latter is probably the best option for you. Now, strategically, tactically, you can look at Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. There's a whole bunch of platforms for you to apply exactly what I'm saying. But you can't be one of those people that don't respect the law of gestation. Now, for those who don't know, the law of gestation is literally you respecting the process of growth. So when a seed goes into the ground, it's not going to happen by osmosis or because of somebody praying that the seed is going to grow into a tree the next day. There's a law, there's a process that it has to go through. It needs to germinate while under the ground, get all the nutrients it can. And then next thing you know, when you ain't even paying attention, that tree blossoms. So you can apply building relationships by commenting on other people's pages. The simplest thing that you can do. Along with that, there's this thing I created called the 10 on 10 strategy. You are literally spending 10 minutes a day because you're going to say, I ain't got a lot of time, man. Give me something simple. 10 on 10 strategy, 10 minutes a day. All you doing is commenting on other people's pages. Now, you're giving them substantive comments. This is not just an emoji. You're actually reading the caption, looking at what the post is about, and making a comment. I can't tell you how much success my clients have had literally by doing that. I get messages all the time where people telling me, man, just doing a 10 on 10 strategy, I got a $10,000 contract. I got this brand deal. I got all these clients simply by being interested in what they were doing versus bringing all the attention back to me. When you show a general interest in somebody else's life, their activities, their behaviors, they naturally want to show an interest in you because you seem more intriguing than the average person where it was all about them.
Those are powerful, man. And I'm taking a lot of notes so we can recap and make sure you guys do not miss any of these gems. So when it comes to somebody deciding where they want to show up, right? Because then I want to kind of talk to you about like the basics of branding, because I don't want people to, I want them to really understand what that is. So when it comes to people deciding where you show up, where they show up, where would you say to that? Because there's so many different platforms that they can exist on, right? And you can even go offline with it, right? So how would they decide on areas on where they should show up?
Yeah, and this question comes up a lot. So you're gonna have some people that love Twitter and stand by it, like, man, I don't even mess with Instagram. I only do Twitter. And the reason for that is because they spent a certain amount of time and they like it. They have studied it. They've watched YouTube videos about it. So you really just got to pick one. Like I can tell you that you're going to have massive success on Instagram because there's a boatload of people there, but you might feel this affinity towards TikTok. You might love Facebook still. You might still be on Tumblr. I don't know. But wherever you go, you got to make sure that you're applying this BTB method. So you're going to show up, you're going to bring some value, right? You're going to tell your story of who you are and why they should care about you. Because, one of the biggest problems for those that's on Instagram, you create this business page in the hopes that one brave soul is going to buy your product. And then after them buying your product, you're going to feel confident enough to keep selling your product. Well, normally that's not the way it goes. Like you show up with this amazing product and it might be the dopest in your city, but why should I care? And oftentimes entrepreneurs are not giving people a reason to actually care about their product. This is why This is why I honestly highly suggest that if you have a business page, also have a personal page where you can really build up who you are, why they should be buying your product. You're doing tutorials, you're doing some reels explaining how to use your product, why to buy your service, how you're set up apart from some of these other individuals. Now, you could most likely do this more effectively if you don't even have the business page. Just use your personal page. Listen, in the beginning, before Manny Hall and Associates really took a life form of its own, it was Manny Hall talking about Manny Hall and Associates for about 3.5 years. And why did I do that? Because nobody cared about Manny Hall and Associates the same way, y'all. Don't nobody care about your book that you just wrote. Now, I'm not being mean or harsh, but I want you to know genuinely, you have to give people a reason to want to buy your product, want to buy your service, or even be interested in hearing more about it, other than you just saying that it's so great. So it's like you got this car detailing company, and you say, no, this is the best one in the city. Why? Oh, because like we got a real good vacuum. Okay, the other dude got a great vacuum. What else? Oh, because we give you the air freshener at the end. Okay, the other dude did that too. What sets you apart? But when you start talking about stuff, it's like we'll actually bring a technician to show you how to properly vacuum your car. And if you want him to do it, you can just sit in the car and wait until it's all done. Ding, 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 ding. Something like that is going to set you apart because that's something that nobody else is willing to do. But you're going above and beyond and giving people an experience that they ain't going to get with nobody else.
Man, you're dropping a lot of heat right now. I hope you guys are paying attention. I'm taking notes. So if I'm hosting and taking notes, you guys have no excuse. And I'm going to run back a lot of Manny's strategies and some of these keys that I'm picking up in real time during the show. So we got a question from the community. Ty asks, she has the ebook. So she asks, what's the best way to brand your ebook?
Brand your ebook starting off with who you are as a brand, because going back to that point, nobody really cares about your ebook unless you give them a reason to care. So if I were you, I would be going live. I would be going to different podcasts, and if you can get on to talk about your book, talk about what it is that you do. But within your content on social media, no matter what platform you use, you want to make sure that you're talking about content that's related to your book, because now we'll start to see you as an expert in that particular field. Doesn't mean that you got to have all these certifications and degrees in that particular thing, but you have to be somewhat knowledgeable about this subject matter and be talking about it on a consistent basis. That lets us know that we need to be listening to you. And then that's the only reason we want to buy your book. We're not just about to take a chance on buying your book because just you said it was so good, because you had a really dope event and you hired a whole bunch of people to show up to the event and act like it was packed. Like, that's not going to be enough for people to really tap into getting your ebook. The only reason they going to care is if you give them a reason to care. Go on live a whole lot. Well, Manny, I don't like going on live. It only be a couple people watching me. I get it. That's how it's going to be in the beginning. The only way you're going to get over that hump is if you start. Like, you're not going to be, you can't wait 3 years and then expect 30 people to be watching you. Instagram is a platform that has an algorithm, y'all. Y'all have heard about the algorithms. They literally can work for you or against you. They'll start to work for you the more consistent you show up. Then you'll start to see them literally sending you people to watch your videos. You might have 2,000 people following you, 1,000 people following you, but these people are not seeing your content for the most parts because the algorithms have said this person is not somebody y'all need to be paying attention to. She only posts 3 days a week. She only posts once a month anyway. Why are we even going to show you this person's content? Your time can be better spent with these people to post all the time. So let you be the person that's putting yourself out there, joining local networking events, like going to the community, seeing if they got some special programs where you can meet new people. You want to have every opportunity possible to get your ebook in front of them in order for people to start finding out about it and spending their money on it.
Yeah, those are super gems. I hope you guys are taking notes on that. I mean, I definitely couldn't say it better myself. I'm like, yep. So there's another question she asked on the back end of that question. That question was same product. If you were in a different space now, like, so if you were at a conference, right? If you were at a conference and you were looking to display your ebook and or your business, how would you approach that?
Okay, so if you're at the event and let's just say you got a vending table, I think that that's what the question is.
Yes.
Okay, so um, really the best method in those instances is for you to have somebody at the table with you, but you actually be walking around the conference and talking to people and literally like luring them to your table because you already got somebody that's posted up. So this particular strategy, you're gonna have to have a team with you. It can't just be by yourself because you can't just stand at the vending table and expect people to come by you and then eventually you gonna start talking to them. Like you got to get out and about. If I were you, if you already have registered for this particular conference that the event is for, make sure that you're posting it on your page, posting it on your stories consistently, telling your friends and family to invite other people. And the goal is not for necessarily you to bring in more sales for the conference, but if it costs money, then that's the only way people are going to get there. But if it's like a free event and you got a table, then you want to get everybody and their mama at that event. So talk about it all the time. But while you're there, you got to be very, very personality driven, and you got to have a whole lot of enthusiasm. Like your book might be a drama and a sad book, but you want to get people excited to read it. So your enthusiasm got to be on point that day. You got to bring your big old smile. If you're wearing a wig that day, get your best wig. Get the one from the back that you don't even wear all the time. Making sure that you look as polished as possible in order to be attractive enough for people to want to talk to you.
Yo, I would second, third, and fourth that. I remember when I used to have a clothing company and we would go to conferences, and especially in the first couple of years, you know, when not a lot of people didn't know about our brand. So yeah, people would come around to the table, but we didn't really have no credibility. There was no edification going on. So what I would literally do is exactly what you said. I would take some samples with me, whether I have something on or I just had, you know, one piece, one product here, one product there. I would walk around the whole conference. And anytime I saw somebody that looked like they were a buyer, I'll just start a relationship. You know, let them know what number booth we were at, or in some cases, just walking right to the booth. You know, I would take either the loudest item that we had, whether it was an accessory, a T-shirt, hoodie. You know what I'm saying? And I would either make sure I had it on, or again that I had it with me, and I would go create those conversations.
That's
So it looks
dope.
like we got another question for the community. She says, "I am vending with my 6-year-old daughter. How to I make with the connect with people?" Okay, let me see if I can decipher this a little bit. I am vending with my 6-year-old daughter. How can I make that work with connecting with people and moving around? Okay,
Yeah.
there we go.
And so again, you know, baby girl 6 years old. She's not old enough to be all out here without your parental guidance, right? So I would still try to bring somebody else with you, and then you and her, or she's just at the table looking real cute and pretty. Maybe she got her little dress on that day. I don't know, but making sure she got some little pretty things coming out of her hair, all of that, because you want to create this experience like, look at this 6-year-old girl that's an entrepreneur. Look at this baby girl that's out here doing her thing. And you want the attention to be so much on her. So not even so much you in this particular instance. I think that the vibe is like, you know, mother-daughter kind of thing experience. But really the focal point should be her. So I would try to find a way to make the table almost representative of who she is, than more so what the brand is. So I'm not sure exactly what you're selling, but like let's just say that it's a skincare line. Making sure that the table is somewhat fun and energetic and kind of speaks to like this playfulness, but at the same time we have a good established product that can help you. Again, to your point about bringing some samples, like making sure that you got samples if samples actually work, having like a little candy dish on the table so that way people can at least stop and grab a Jolly Rancher or something like that, and while they sucking on that boy, they sitting there talking to you, giving them that game and showing them what you're trying to sell to them. But I would definitely try to make sure that you got somebody else there possibly. If not, then you are just going to have to kind of stand in front of the table and kind of like not too far from baby girl, but at least like kind of weigh people down and be talking to them and kind of get them directed back to the table.
More gems, guys. I hope you guys are taking notes and incorporating these things, taking that imperfect action, and going to be incorporating these things into your business, like literally today. All right, looks like we got another question. Do you recommend QR codes on a site for ebooks?
Yeah, I think that it definitely helps to make that process easier and simpler for the people that can potentially buy. Um, but I think that it shouldn't be depended on like as the only source. So this is just another option. But I do think that it's highly effective. When you think about selling any type of products or books, you always are wanting to think about the user experience. Now, the user experience is the person that's buying your product, whether it's this person going to be a client or just a customer, going through that journey of buying from you. What was that experience like? They're the end user, they're the person that's going to be using this product, talking about it positive, negatively. So giving somebody a decent user experience will help them to tell more people about that experience as long as it was good. So to answer your question, yes, I do think that they're a good option for sure.
All right, so why don't we take it back a little bit, because I don't want people to kind of glaze over some of the basics, right? So some people may think branding is just aesthetics, right? It's the colors, you know. It might be a palette, it might be just the presentation, right? But if we're breaking it down to the elements, right? And someone's like, okay, I keep hearing about this branding thing. I'm not really sure if I have a brand, if my presentation is such where it's brandable or marketable, things like that. What would you say would be like 3 or 4 key things that people should look at to really start positioning their brands? Like literally, if it's the first time, like what are a couple things?
Absolutely. So, first, right from the beginning, for those that just tapped in, we talked about like your brand being what somebody else's opinion is of you, not necessarily what you say it is, because there's this cool concept called brand perception, and this is literally a person's perception of you. You could say, well, that's not what we stand for. That was just like a bad day. Nope, that's what we saw. So that was my perception, and I'm going to go walk away and tell other people about it. But all in all, look at your brand as your reputation. Like what it is that people are going to talk about, whether they're seeing you on social media, they saw you in person, they saw you at an event, they saw your email address, and then they went to your website, and on your website you had colors of yellow and green and purple and pink, and it was all over the place. You might have had a dope product, but my perception of your brand is this is hurting my eyes. Like this is not a good experience. I'm not staying here, so I'm walking away. So, y'all, when you look at the importance of building your brand, you gotta know that this is your reputation. This is what people are saying about you. And if you want them saying positive things, then you want to give them something that they're going to like. Now, to that same point, everybody's not going to like you. That's why if we had more time, we would talk about building a tribe. When you're building a tribe with your company and your business, it has nothing to do with trying to like everybody or trying to appease everybody. We're not Walmart. We're not Target, right? But you become this brand that literally wants to single people out, that wants to push other people away, because I'm not talking to y'all. I didn't make this product for y'all. So I want y'all to naturally be walking away from me saying, I don't like it. But if you are producing something for a particular audience, there's a term we talk about, your customer avatar. Like, how does this person look? How do they think? How do they talk? What do they dress like? What type of income do they have? And this is not 100% end all be all for the person, but this will at least give you an understanding of who this person that you're trying to market to. Are they a woman? Are they a man? Are they a kid? Once you figure that out, you only talk to them with your brand. You make sure that you're showing them stuff that they would potentially like without cutting corners of who you are yourself. So if you know deep down inside that you are producing this ebook to help women that were single moms get through some pain, don't start talking to married women because you feel like, well, no, I got some married women that's on my page too, and they be checking me out, so I'm gonna start talking to them. No, stop talking to them. You're only talking to the people that you're trying to get this product sold for. And if they're single moms, then keep talking to them in a way that they're going to hear your voice. Just like in the Bible, when Jesus talked about my sheep know my voice, right? Like you got to be able to speak in a way that your audience is listening to you. But when you're building a brand, like some people will say, I'm not building a brand, I'm just building a company. You're building a brand because, believe it or not, whatever you're producing behind the scenes and you show that to people, that's your brand.
Bro, I have to drink some water on you real quick, man. Can you just You dropping the gems, man. I feel like we back in church right now. All right, so we about to wrap up. 5 minutes left. So what I want to do is I want to go over some strategies that Manny mentioned, and then I'm gonna go over the keys that I picked up. Hopefully you guys will pick them up too. And then we're gonna give Manny an opportunity to let you know what he currently has going on, so you can tap in directly with him, and then possibly work with him on the branding tip, right? Okay, so Manny talked about, and you can expound on any of these, and if you want, just to make sure I got them. So he talked about that BTB method, right? B, bringing the value. T, telling the story. B, building on the relationships. And to give you guys a little sidebar, right? What are Manny and I doing in real time, right in front of your eyes? He's bringing the value. I'm bringing the value, right? He's telling a little bit of his story in terms of what he does with his business and branding and how he helps his people, right? And we're building on our relationships, right? We're literally using the BTB right now in real time.
Yeah.
Then he talked about the 10 on 10 strategy, right? 10 minutes a day commenting on other people's pages. This also includes jumping in the DM, right? So jump in that DM, spark them relationships, right? And some of the keys that I picked up in real time, taking notes and hosting. So you guys have no excuse not to take notes. But if you're not taking notes, go back and listen to the playback. Manny talked about changing your mindset, right? And there's 3 decisions that you can make. You can either keep doing the same thing, try to do some other things, or use that BTB method. You know what I'm saying? He also talked about picking one platform to exist on, and then I like to say showing up on that platform consistently. Use your personal page to get things. Use your personal page to get things moving. Not necessarily waiting to establish a business page. Just use what you got. Keep things moving. Give people a reason to want to buy your product. Right. Get out and about. Right. If you're physically going to be out there, shake things up, build some relationships. Your brand is basically being other people's perception of you and or your business, and then your brand is your representation. And then you also dropped that loss. So can you talk about the law real quick?
Yeah, the law of gestation.
Exactly, the law of gestation.
Yep. And it's literally, y'all, you just respecting the process and realizing that everything takes a certain amount of time, depending on what's needed for it to get done, for it to be useful for somebody else. So for those cooks and bakers out there, if you're making a pound cake, you're not going to put that boy in the oven and then 10 minutes later, because you start to see the outside kind of getting kind of cooked and look like it's done, it's not done just because you have some experience as a baker. Now you can put the knife right through there and it's not going to be edible. It's not going to be something that you're going to enjoy. And it's the same thing that's happening with our products and services, y'all. We're putting a little bit out there, but it's not done yet. You haven't respected the process. You're not reading no books. You're not listening to your affirmations. You're not praying anymore. You're not meditating, but you think that automatically, because you're such a great person and you've worked hard, that you're supposed to be rewarded with success. You got to put in the work. Putting in the work is the same thing that this seed that's in the ground is going to get with the nutrients. It has to go through all these different storms. It has to go through these seasons. And next thing you know, that tree sprouts up. So the law of gestation, y'all, is literally you just respecting the process. Every time you see somebody balling out of control, they taking another trip, they bought them another Lamborghini, you feeling like you're missing out. You're not missing out. You are respecting the law of gestation as long as you know that you're putting in the work behind the scenes is going to get you there.
Fire. So look, I drop below. Make sure you guys follow Manny at Manny_Hall. Tap in, jump in, let him know you was on the Imperfect Action Show. You got a lot of his gems and a lot of his drip. Manny, how can they get in contact with you other than Instagram, right? And then what do you have available for them to work with you?
Absolutely. So we got some really great programs, y'all, to help with brand scaling up. And right now, I got this real dope offer that y'all can take advantage of. It's for 30 days that you work with somebody like myself or somebody on my team, that we will literally take you through a 4-step process, 4 sessions that you will literally enhance your brand like never before. But y'all send me an email to Manny@MHA-Can-Help. That's Manny@MHACANHELP.com. The website is also www.mhacanhelp.com. But Instagram is also available. So just reach out. And, for those that follow me today on this show, if you're watching live, I'll follow you back so we can connect. So I'm just putting that offer out there. I'm not going to follow everybody tomorrow or next week. But if you follow today, that lets me know that you was on the show. and let's form a relationship and start talking, y'all.
Well, 100%. Look, it's an Imperfect Action Show. On this show for 30 minutes, Monday through Friday, what do? We bring on guests, or I'll go solo, right? Bring you value, principles, strategies in marketing and in business that you can literally extract from this show and implement in real time in your business for free to level you up. And today's guest, Manny Hall, make sure that you tap in. Thank you, man. Really, really appreciate you for creating some space to jump on the show. This was very, very powerful, and a playback will be available immediately. So if anyone missed anything, make sure that you listen to the playback.
All right, y'all.
All right, y'all. Talk to you later.